want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
We are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
Your home for healthy masculinity. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
Oh, it's that time again.
Hey, I am Kirk M. Samuel.
And I am Jason B. Kendrick.
And we are the Mad Men of Masculinity.
That's right. We're just real men having real conversations for you.
For you.
So what are we doing today? What's going on?
Man, I don't know what we're doing today. We're trying to figure this thing out, man.
See,
by the way, people hate when I point into the screen.
We do.
People hate when I do that.
It's not just me.
People just say, man, that gets on my nerves.
But
I can't stop. I'm an older brother. So when I do that, it
just means he's annoying.
It's just me being older brother-ish, man.
Just annoying.
Sure enough,
just
man.
Annoying.
Sure enough. So yeah, man, I don't know. We're still trying to figure. We've been doing this for years. Man, we still don't know what we're doing.
Just show up and let's talk about stuff.
Let's talk about stuff.
Let's talk about stuff.
Let's talk about.
Stuff, baby. Let's talk about
you and me.
No, let's not talk about you and me.
Let's
not talk about you and me.
We always talk about you and me, man. We use each other. We use each other as clickbait.
Right.
We use our stories as clickbait. But hey, we got another story in here.
We do.
We got a homie in the house, man.
Do.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna pop him on the screen.
Mr. Alex is in the house.
Hey, guys. Boom. We got Mr. Alex Yakubovich. How you doing, sir? Did I pronounce the last name right?
Absolutely.
You see how fast he did that? He was worried. You see how fast he did that?
I don't like to offend people like that, man. I don't like to offend people like that.
He didn't try to.
I got a Hebrew last name. You're a Jew. Man, we brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? We brothers, man.
Absolutely.
You know absolutely. If you look on the screen here, we go from like light to dark too.
We're trying to say.
Hey, if you go to madmenradio.com, you can check us out. If you go to YouTube, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff, you can watch us. We're streaming live and all that kind of stuff. You can see what I'm saying? We got like a color wheel. We got a color chart.
All shades.
It's also like an evolutionary chart because you got the Neanderthal over there. Then you got like
the
guy standing halfway up. And then you got the evolved guy over there.
I'm the shorter one. So.
Anyhow, man.
See, now I feel bad about giving you my light.
Now that we ramble. Alex, what do you do for a living, man?
I am an auto broker.
What?
I'm in the car business.
All right.
Your favorite kind of business?
Yeah, let's break that down though. What does an auto broker actually do? Is this like auto concierge? Like, can I just?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Really?
Basically, I've got about 25 plus years in car business, so I've done it all: finance, sales, fleet. So what I do for my clients is they call me up, whether they're looking for a new car, used car, lease, whatever they're looking at, selling a car, buying a car. I do it all for them. You don't have a lot of time to waste. Everybody's busy these days, so I do it all.
Wow!
You call me up, I find you the car that you're looking for, whether it's an auction or whatever, and it's a white glove kind of a service. A to Z, and I work for a place called Greenwood Automotive here in Parker. Great place, nice cars. They also have about 130 cars. Plus, I have access to everything from Florida to Portland.
Wow!
So,
hey, why it's got to be a white glove? Why can't it be like a brown glove?
See, I was thinking the same thing. Why can't it be like a black glove or something?
Well, white glove, you see the dirt a little, that kind of thing. Brown, you ain't gonna see the dirt.
Okay.
Yeah, clean.
I'm gonna let you go with that, man. I'm gonna let you
I appreciate it.
But I'm gonna let you go with that, man. But anyhow, that ain't why we have you on the air, though. No. Specifically, I mean, we love for people to know who you are and what you're doing. We love people to contact you and all that kind of stuff. And we're gonna make sure we pop in your contact info a few times during this shenanigans that we got going on here. But man, you and I met through some kind of mutual people around town, around the Denver suburban Parker area and all that kind of stuff. Some friend circles. And well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. A couple weeks ago, so I'm in the jewelry store, right? A couple weeks ago at the mall, and I'm in there with my lady.
What was you doing in the jewelry store, man?
We looking for the ring, the ring, the final ring. We doing that thing. We shopping.
Ring.
I'm with my lady. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be cool, Mac Daddy. I'm trying not to freak out at the sticker shock and all that kind of stuff. And and I look over and I see my dude. I see Alex. I'm gonna go holler at Alex. He calls me out of the. He just called me straight out, man. He's like, "Yo, all I know is I'm supposed to be on a radio show at some point. You ain't putting on a radio show. What the deal is with that, man?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm with my lady right now, man. Can you can you slow roll, man? Can you at least make me feel good about being out here with my lady spending all this money?" Homeboy just went in on me, man. And so I got right on the phone. And I was like, "Yo, Jay, we're going to do this right now. JBK, let's set this thing up."
See the squeaky wheel gets the grease, man.
Wheel, man. But, Alex, you're a real dude. And so since I've gotten to know you, one of the things that I've come to know and come to watch you primarily, well, in person, definitely, but also on social media, is that, man, you and your wife, y'all make relationships great. And I don't know that we have a big culture today of making relationships great. I think you hear a lot of people complaining about dating and complaining about this and complaining about that, men versus women, women versus men, and all this other kind of stuff. But man, I mean, if nothing else, you know, you and your wife make it look fun, man. I mean, and I've had the conversation with her, like, you know, does he get really on your nerves? And I mean, she fessed up that she loves you and she loves the dynamic that you all have. And man, I just think it's a great opportunity to spotlight the idea and to highlight the fact that, man, maybe it's cool, maybe it's time to make relationships great again. Man.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was just the shoes. I mean,
Well,
those
shoes that I wore.
Those rhinestone loafers. I mean,
Homeboy got
some
shoes,
fashion.
man.
I like my shoes.
Homeboy got shoes, man.
He's not extroverted at all. He's not trying to gain any kind of attention with what he wears. And were those your choice or your wife's choice?
Always my choice.
Okay, all right. She didn't suggest like, hey, put some rhinestones on there.
She just rolls her eyes. And says, okay, let's go.
So like give the condensed version of the story with you and your wife in terms of, you know, how you met and kind of, you know, what brings you here today in terms of your relationship.
It's actually kind of a funny story. Me and her, I'm actually an immigrant. I immigrated here from Russia or Ukraine.
I thought you were going to say you immigrated from Brooklyn.
She's from Brooklyn, so I'm close enough. But I came here way back when, and I actually met I met Ann back in Columbia Middle School, way back when.
Wow.
And we've known each other through many years, and we knew each other in high school. We have a lot of mutual friends, and just have known each other. And then we bumped into each other over a lot of years. And then when I was going through my divorce, about 6 months after my divorce or so, I was coming back from Glenwood Springs, and of all places, my two daughters were like, "We don't want to go home. We want to go eat someplace." And they wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese of all places.
Nice. Where a kid can be a kid.
Right. Absolutely. You know, the little gambling casino for little tyrants. And there she was. She was celebrating her nephew's birthday. And we started talking, and she was going through her divorce. And it was weird, really weird. She played hard to get. What was different about her from the very, very start was she did not give in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. She
give in like how?
In any way. She wouldn't go out. She wouldn't go out until her divorce was final. First couple of dates that we did go on, she actually brought a chaperone.
Nice.
She brought a chaperone with her. And because she's known me from high school and middle school.
So she didn't trust you, basically.
No, not one bit. Yeah. She knew me. She, kind of had a different reputation than she did. She was a little bit of a high school nerd, library, the whole bit, and I was a little different. And so, yeah, she had a chaperone with her. And anyway, kind of fast forward, second date, I asked her out one more time. She agreed, but she was going to her car, and I kind of stopped her, kind of in a nice way, grabbed her and pulled her back towards me and spun her around like in the movies and gave her a big old lip lock.
Ooh wee.
And that's what finally got the third date.
Ooh wee.
Nice. Take notes, gentlemen.
And that was actually, the time that we actually started hanging out like adults. But it was still many months before we actually started really kind of dating in any kind of way, because she needed to work on herself. I was newly divorced. She was newly divorced. She had kids. I had kids. So I guess the big difference in our relationship was that we took it stupid slow. I mean, really, really slow.
Pay attention, everybody. How many times we say, slow down?
Well, but it's easier said than done.
Oh, I know.
As a guy, you're like, come on, let's go. You're looking really good. Come on.
Yep.
But no, it was. We took it very slow, and it actually paid off beautifully. And then early on, as we kind of crossed that threshold of becoming a real one couple, we kind of decided very early on in our relationship that we weren't going to have third-party influences in our household.
That's huge. That's so big.
We stuck to it. We've stuck to it for the whole time we've been together, where we respect people's opinions, but It's our house. It's our household. In the house, she runs the house. She's the boss. I recognize that. Outside the house, I'm kind of the boss. She likes that whole, I'm the protector. I open the door. I still do all those things. I plan the dates. And I guess the biggest thing that she loves, and we talked about this kind of in preparation for this, I asked her, what was the big thing that you love? She goes, we still date each other.
Mm-hmm.
We still go on dates. We still try to court each other. It's not something that we take for granted.
Yeah, and that's we've talked about that, and that's one of the reasons I'm glad that Kirk brought you. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm glad you cornered Kirk and made him call me,
strong arm,
so we could get you
Actually,
on here.
he spun me around and he planted a. It was kind of the equivalent.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of the equivalent.
It was creepy. It was creepy that way.
Well, if you see me on social media, you know that I don't have a filter. I don't have any of that. I'm very out there.
It's like what's up here comes out here. So he goes.
I don't know if it even rattles around.
It just comes straight out.
Ooh, here's a thought.
No, but that's why I'm glad you're here, because we talk about a lot of these things. I mean, we put Kirk's book, the book that we worked on, 7 Secrets of Modern Day. We talk about a lot of that. We talk about it on the show, and having you as an example, because I think nowadays because of social media and all the dating apps and all these different things, nobody's going slow. There is no slow. And then what tends to happen is you just dive right in, and either it doesn't work out because you don't know the person, or maybe you dove right in thinking, oh, well, this is just casual, and then feelings start to happen. And then, that causes other issues. And so I think taking it slow, which, I mean, you're right, it's very hard, especially for us guys, because we see that booty and we're like, I want her.
Well, but I think also at the same time, everybody, because of social media, because of Instagram and Facebook and all the different dating apps. I mean, how many dating apps are there? 1,000?
More every day.
Yeah, I mean, you have so many selections to pick from and to choose from. And I mean, if you're always comparing your person to somebody else, you're never satisfied. And you're never satisfied, you're never going to be happy with what you have. You're always going to be looking for a better meal or a better place or a better restaurant or better. You're never going to be happy.
Yeah, and I want, especially, I mean, we're going to kind of slide this one into a break here shortly, but when you come back, I really want to get into why and what was the thought process about why you took away the outside influences, because I think that's just brilliant and genius, and what most people don't do, and then it causes issues. Because we tell girls, like, once you find your man, get rid of your single girlfriends. We tell that to guys too, like, get your single dudes away from your girl once you get a girl, kind of thing. But not having those outside influences, because I mean, it's hard enough just to have a relationship, but then you have all the extra influence, and that just causes issues.
Yeah. And speaking of issues,
you got issues?
Let's issue us a break.
All right, issue that
I'm
break.
going to issue us a citation for a break. We'll be right back. KLDC 1220 AM in the Mile High City.
Booyaka.
Boom. Good
All right.
stuff.
Make sure to look at your phone, sir.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at my phone.
You looking at us.
I'm trying to look at us.
I know we look good. I mean, it's hard. I mean,
It's hard not to look at us.
Look, I got to back away then. Do that.
There you go.
Boom.
That works.
Boom. And I found, I don't wear mine just because it gets blurry, but if you tilt your head down, normally the reflection from the ring light will bounce down too, and you won't get that.
Well, what I'm finding, what I'm finding is that my eyes are really blurry now. I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm looking at.
I'd get that too. I either get one or the other with the glasses and all that kind of deal. Boom. All right. Y'all ready?
Do it.
We're back. Mad Men of Masculinity.
KLDC
1220
AM in the Mile High City.
And on the interwebs.
Everywhere.
You see how we did that? We didn't even practice that, dude. You see how we did that? You know what I'm saying? We just like that. We're like mind melded. We like, we put us together as like AI. You know what I'm saying? We're chat GBT for radio for masculinity. We just predict, man. We just be predicting stuff. We like that middle button on your cell phone when you texting. We like predict text on this bad boy, man. That's how we do things. We got Mr. Alex Yakubovich in the studio here, and he's an auto broker by trade and by profession, and here in the Denver area. By the way, real quick, throw out your phone number.
303-949-7605.
Nice. And so, I mean, in terms of that's what he does as a profession, passion. In other words, this is what I like. He's a normal dude Like, all respect, dude. He didn't have a whole bunch of letters behind his name. We're not trying to bring, some guy that sold him. I mean, we bring in regular dudes with some cool insights, some cool knowledge. You don't have to be some sort of, breakthrough expert on this and that, and, super million subscribers on this and that, whatever. We just got a regular dude in here dropping knowledge, man, dropping wisdom about keeping relationships fun, man. I think it'd be great if we just made it sexy to be in a nice relationship and to be healthy and to do things the right way and all that kind of stuff, man. And you were talking about kind of easing into it, no pun intended, easing into it slowly in terms of the relationship, in terms of getting into the depths of the relationship. Y'all went out, you went to Chuck E. Cheese the first time. Wait a minute, you weren't in the mouse costume, were you? All right,
no.
Cool.
You went to the band.
You went to the germ factory. The big purple thing, or is that the green?
No, that's a whole different thing.
Oh, I got it. Well, you weren't in the ball pit. Anyhow, all the germs, all that kind of stuff. You was there. You did your date, and then she brought like a chaperone, and then then you kind of at some point you made your move. By the way, fellas, I see, like, okay, on one hand, there's confidence to be able to just know when the right moment is to spin your lady around and plant one on her. There's a fine line, though. There's a fine line between a guy who's really romantic and a stalker. And the difference is whether or not she thinks you're cute.
Pretty much.
And so if she thinks you're cute, you can get away with it. If not, you better make sure. But that's some confidence, and that's something that a lot of women dig. A lot of women dig that a guy who knows to recognize his shot and to take it. So kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you, my friend.
Yeah, because that's not a standard thing nowadays. A lot of guys are pretty gun shy, especially after Me Too and a lot of the other things. So, kudos for you doing that.
And that's the thing, I think what women don't get is a lot of guys that hold back on that. They hold back on that because we don't want to get YouTube, right? Or Me Too, right? Not YouTube. We don't want to get Me Too, right? We don't want to be the guy that's up on some website of, hey, watch out for this guy. So, ladies, if you want to know why guys don't make the first move, that's why, because it's gotten too rough out in these streets for guys with confidence. But when you got a guy like Alex, he knows, he recognized, he's like Maverick. He saw the shot and he had to take it. He had to take it. I saw the shot. There was no danger, and I took it. And so, yeah, that's one of those moves, man.
If I could add something,
yes, sir.
Her chaperone was about 10 feet away too. She could have took me down.
She could have. One of them chaperones.
Yeah,
she brought the big one.
Oh, she brought the big one.
Nice. But then you mentioned that we might as well jump straight into it, man. You talked about removing like excess or outside influences. How did you mean that?
That's huge.
So how sometimes, no matter how much you try to bring a person up, sometimes you just can't. We all have that one friend. We all have that one couple that no matter how much you try, no matter what you do, no matter how much you motivate, no matter how many videos you send them, you just can't do it. And eventually it just wears you down so much that they start bringing you down. They start bringing your joy down. They start bringing your weekends down to where you start losing your limited happiness. Because we're all very limited on our time, and that's what people don't seem to understand. None of us are guaranteed to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, hey, there's another day. You could die in the middle of the night. Plenty of people do. So me and her actually made a decision a long time ago. It was an active conversation that we have, and we just decided, you know what? We don't need these kind of people in our life. And it's not that we're being jerks about it. It's just, we just can't. We can't. We have too many things going. She's a trainer all day. She trains people on mortgages. She's on video all day long. I'm talking to clients all day. I have 3 daughters in college. I have a son that does restoration. I don't have time for that. So when we made a decision to do this, we lost a lot of good friends in that process that we thought were friends. But what ended up happening was we noticed that the replacement, I guess, lack of a better word, was that much better.
Yeah.
What filled in the gaps, where that saying, birds of a feather flock together. We started noticing that people that came into our life were people that were just energetic. It was like, hey, let's go here. Hey, let's go do this. Hey, let's blah, 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 blah. And it started bringing us up because we're like, oh my goodness, now we got to do this. And we're doing this. And we're going here. Versus, okay, tell us what's going on. And it became one of these things to where, like, we recognize, like, Anne recognizes when I come home, she recognizes that I got to kind of diffuse a little bit. So she gives me that space. I also recognize, like, when she's telling me about her day, I'm not going to try to fix it. So we recognize all these things, and we also recognize that within our friends. So it's just being conscious about our environment and being very, very open to new experiences as well, I guess, to where as we bring new people on, having fun with people as well, and being and not really being judgy as well. I mean, we have friends that are across the spectrum on everything. So,
well, it's just that energy thing. And I think having that conscious conversation and awareness that, okay, this is a new relationship, we're creating a new dynamic. What is going to be healthy for our dynamic? And a lot of times, if we were honest with ourselves, trying to drag all of your friends, your single friends, and all the people from your past into this new dynamic isn't going to work. So having that just awareness, like, okay, this is nothing personal really, but like you said, we have limited time, we have limited energy, we have other obligations. So we need to have people who match us, and having people who match you will help to, like you said, make your relationship stronger, help build you up versus somebody else, crabbing you in the bucket, trying to pull you down all the time when you're just trying to pull them up. It's, a lot of times people don't realize when there's your energy, there's her energy, and then there's a relationship energy that you're creating together. And those are three different dynamics that you need to be aware of. And sometimes being aware of that means you got to clean house. You got to have a spring clean and go, okay, who matches with us and who doesn't? And to your point, I mean, sometimes you have to go through that. All right, we're going to get rid of everybody and then see who shows up, see who matches with us, who's drawn to us. Because sometimes you just have to do that, and that will help benefit your relationship in the future.
And that's where, the other big role that I think Ann brought to the table that I didn't have before, and I got to give a certain credit to, which I've never in my life thought I'd give credit to, was my ex-wife, who, if you know me and my ex-wife, you know that there's just fire and whatever. It's nuclear war, me and her. But the one thing that I learned from that previous marriage was communication, of lack of communication. So I'm very, very, very aware of what I didn't have, I bring to the table now. And that was, being a new parent, being newlyweds, blah, 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 just things that I did not know that I wish I would have known. But I'm glad I didn't know, because now I have an amazing wife now. Things that I learned that I wish I could pass on to the younger couples of saying, if anything, communicate, talk, and get rid of those bad people. Now, to one thing that you also said was we also have a lot of single friends, but we make sure that the single friends don't bring anything that doesn't make sense to the table. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Like, no, we're not going to be swingers. No, we're not going to your key party. No, we're not doing none of that. So
it's absolutely none of that. But it's just, we'll have an evening where we'll all cook at the house, and everybody will bring a dish, or we'll all go out to a restaurant. And it's kind of a weird stage that I'm in right now, because being in our early 50s, a lot of our friends are in that same age. A lot of our friends are going through divorces. One of my wife's, one of her best friends is going through a divorce right now, and she's been very much part of our life. There's no way I can't imagine her being part of our life, kind of a thing. But we'll see what that brings. So right now she's positive and energetic, but we all know how divorce could be.
I think the cool part is, it's segueing into a divorce kind of a posture, if you will. First of all, you talk about kind of this not being your first rodeo, right? And so, a lot of times they throw out the statistics that, half of marriages end in divorce, which is kind of deceptive, because it's not really that way. It's just the people that get divorced keep getting divorces. And so the percentages go up based on like the second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever marriage. And so the average might be 50%, but if you're just coming out of the gate, first marriage doesn't necessarily mean there's a 50% chance. But either way, I think the reason why so many people keep getting divorces is because they don't learn from their previous experiences, right? And so when we learn from our previous experiences, and when we say, okay, well, in this one, I'm not going around that same mountain that I went around before. I'm not going to repeat the same mistakes that I did before. I'm not going to keep marrying the same person over and over again. I'm going to actually find something or someone who is more aligned with who I am, what I am, and more importantly, where I want to go in life. And so, I hear buried in your story, we're going to get in the second half of this on like some ways that you keep it fun, but buried in your story is like, okay, we're going to do some stuff different. And part of what we're doing different is we're going to, almost align or surround ourselves, including with each other, with people who are going in the same direction that we're going into and want to be the kind of people that we want to be individually, but also together.
Yeah, it's just an energetic thing that we sometimes don't even pay attention to. And I think to Kirk's point, a lot of times we get out of one relationship and don't learn a lesson because we don't take that time to look in the mirror and go, okay, where was I wrong? What did like you were talking about, Alex, the communication piece. Like, okay, now I know I didn't have good, clean communication with my ex. I want that for the future, and making sure I get that and surround myself with people who have those skills, or maybe going and getting those skills before the next relationship. Because if you keep dating the same person in a different body, it means you are just in the same energy and the same mindset, and you're attracting the same thing. So learning from your past mistakes, I mean, you're going to, if you don't change your mindset, if you don't change kind of your belief system between relationships, you're going to have the same relationship again. You're going to be the same person creating the same relationship. So if you don't like your past relationship, there's some work that needs to be done.
Well, and I think that's where early on in our relationship, she came out of kind of a very, very negative situation. Hers was very unique, and she came out of a very negative one. I ended up earlier on stepping in as a stepdad, a little bit of a heavier role. And I mean, her kids are my kids. I don't look at Jacob or Lauren as my stepkids. They're my kids. They're no different than Audrey or Addison. But again, a lot of it has to do with the respect of the other person, the respect of what's in our house, and respecting the other person. The one thing that, like I was saying earlier, the one thing that was a little different that was brought into the relationship was she brought a very heavy sense of God into our house, which I've never really had. I mean, I've always been, okay, God. But she kind of brought that, and this is not going to be a religious by any means, but it gave a household a certain sense of order. Yeah. And there's a certain sense of all those kind of things, and I guess maybe that kind of gave it a different structure as well.
Yeah, not having a kind of sense of spirit, divine, divinity, or any kind of something kind of that holding that foundation or that container for you sometimes is really hard because you kind of feel listless or you feel without rudder. But speaking of without rudder,
hey, let's rudder ourselves right into a break.
Let's rudder ourselves out of a break.
What do you think?
Mad Men of Masculinity on KLDC. We'll be right back.
Boom. Good stuff, man. This is really good stuff, man.
Yeah, we'll get into some how-tos. Guys like the how-tos.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I should be bringing up or not bringing up?
Oh, man.
No, just don't overthink it. Just whatever comes out.
We're freaking great, man. Yeah, we just a couple guys sitting around shooting a breeze, man.
I'm trying to get my eyes to focus, and my eyes are having a hard time focusing.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I literally can't see where I'm sitting.
That's quite right.
Messed up.
You make yourself comfortable.
You ain't gonna look no better or no worse without them glasses or with the glasses. So
I'm gonna be blind either way.
Well, yeah, it's all good.
Can't look as good as you.
Mad Men of Masculinity.
KLDC.
12:20 a.m. in the Mile High City.
And on the interwebs. Everywhere.
That's right.
Make sure you go on YouTube, like and subscribe, hit that bell icon so you know when we are posting and when we'll be on. And you can get us on podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts, and you can hear our lovely dulcet tones over your speakers 24/7, 365.
365.
The rest of your life.
Yeah. Mad Men of Masculinity on KLDC. That was weird.
That was a little weird. That was your creepy voice.
That's when I sit around with my smoking jacket and my ascot and my slippers.
And nothing else.
That's when all the kids run away and the animals too. They just run away.
Mom, he's outside again. Mom, he's outside again.
That bad man's out on the porch again.
Anyhow, hey, we got Alex in the studio, man. Alex, man, he's a normal guy, meaning like, he's just one of us, man. We just sit around shooting the breeze, man. But he's got some wisdom, he's got some insight, man, and he's doing something that is kind of swimming upstream these days, which is having a fulfilled relationship with his wife. And it's not even the first marriage, but he learned from the first one and he's doing it right the second time. And Man, so let's get into some of the stuff, man. Some of the stuff I've seen, you know, and you tend to post a lot on social media. If you're not connected with this guy on social media, man, look him up, particularly on, is it just Facebook or Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, Facebook.
But look, I mean, seriously, his name is on the screen here, but look him up and just send him a friend request, man. You'll enjoy it. Trust me on that one. I don't know how Ann does it. And I've said it to her like face to face, like I don't know how you do it. I mean, first of all, like what's the deal with like scaring her just in random places and random times, man, on video?
Yeah, it started years ago. And actually, I have a collection that I've never posted. We were going to Glenwood Springs. Our little quick getaway is always Glenwood Springs. And she falls asleep in the car within like minutes. If we're going anywhere, she wraps herself up in a blanket and she's out. And every time she would do it, I would like scream out of nowhere or I'd do something just to scare her. So I kind of started with there. Then I started videotaping. Then I started downloading, you know, weird sounds to it. And now it's gotten to that daddy joke thing that I started doing on dad joke on TikToks, where I started doing the dad joke of the day and then scaring her because she's so genuine with her screams.
Yeah, very.
I mean, one of the best ones was this couple of months ago where I was hiding in the bathroom for it seemed like the longest time, and she was we were getting ready to leave someplace, and the dogs walked by. They look at me like, whatever, here he goes again. And then she walks by with her purse, and I screamed at her, and she turns around. She has this delayed reaction of like, it seems like 15 seconds, but it's like a second. Screams, puts herself back together, and keeps walking.
She's just giving you what you want. She's like, he wants to scream.
No, they're genuine. I mean, they're all on like, you know, the videos on my page or, you know, and I'm not a social media guy. Like they're not organized or not whatever. They're just random. I see an opportunity, I go for it.
So basically, you're kind of the exception to the rule. I mean, you're on the second marriage. You're making it fun. You're making sure that you have a good container and you have the right people around you. And to Kurt's point, I mean, what we hear so much is all this negativity, but there is some possibility, and that's why we wanted to have you on here, because you are the example. You were kind of the exception to the rule that, hey, if you learn from your past relationships and if you start making it fun and make sure you surround yourself with the right kind of people, you can have a fun, successful relationship. I mean, I don't know necessarily you need to be scaring your woman all the time and put it on video. That might not be her cup of tea, but I mean, I'm sure there's other ways you can have fun and keep it spiced up.
We do. And the main thing, like she talks about, is I never stopped dating her. We've been together now. You got to figure we've known each other since we were 12. I'm 52. So I've known her a very long time. We've met each other again in 2012, 13, at the end of 2012. So we never stopped dating. I do not all the time, but like, for instance, I was leaving town this weekend and I bought her a dozen flowers and her chai tea latte in the morning before I left. And I gave her a little card. I wrote some cute little funny thing inside the card and before I left out of town. And and honestly, I get a lot of that also from my dad. My parents been together 56 years and they're together. They live in Aurora here. They're local. And my dad always did stuff like that for my mom. So me and my brother kind of learned early on what it's like to have fun, to enjoy, to go out. And, whether it's a baseball game or just a park, or like yesterday when I came back, we went for a long walk and we just talked. And honestly, I was trying to grab her butt and she was just being goofy about it and, whatever.
See, goofy stuff. Is there a difference between dating and courting?
Courting, yeah, absolutely. Courting is when you're really, really trying to get laid.
Okay, which is appropriate. I mean, is there anything wrong with that?
Dating is like, for instance, last week I tried to I planned out a whole dinner thing and I invited some of her friends and it was like this whole thing. I invited her best friend and it was a nice dinner and it was just about making her feel special with her friends. Courting was, I'm going to get you flowers. I got a bottle of wine. I've got Netflix because I don't want you to leave because The whole point of this, if I do it right, everything's coming off.
Yeah.
So
Isn't
there's a
courting-
difference.
Isn't courting kind of like getting them, and then dating is keeping them? Like courting, isn't that kind of the beginning part? Would you say?
Well, but courting should never stop, because I
See
mean, the thing is, I think women, just like guys, we start feeling insecure about our bodies. We start feeling insecure
Why
about
are you
our
looking at me, man?
sex, and we start feeling about our gray
Don't
hair.
look this way.
Receding hair, because it looks straight ahead. We start feeling bad about all the things that are wrong with us. I mean, I go to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, come on. We start doing all these things because we want to feel good about ourselves. We want to feel good, look good. And our women, they have think about all the stuff that's bombarding them on a daily basis. And now guys are bombarded with, you got weird hair here and you got impotence and blah blah blah, all this other stuff. It's like, oh my God, just turn that crap off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got this one woman in front of you, she loves you, you love her, but you need to date that crap out of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And when you stop dating her, you're screwed.
Yeah,
you're screwed.
Yeah, I think that comes down to the focus. Do you want this relationship to work? How focused are you on it working, and what are you doing to make sure that it works? And getting rid of negative people and getting around people who are on your same wavelength, and then focusing on that relationship. I mean, to the point, I've seen some friends who got so maybe they had a scare, maybe they were having trouble, and they decided, okay, we're done with social media, we're done with all these other things, and we're going to focus on what we want to create. And if we don't have that, and especially nowadays, you got to be very conscious of this. Not this it's just going to happen thing. You've got so many outward influences, and trying to pull your attention one way or the other. You got to be focused.
Well, and the big thing, and this is, I say this to people all the time, and you just see people's eyebrows lift up all the time. I don't have any password protections when it comes to my wife. She has access to everything, and I'm a goofball. I have a lot of single friends. I network a lot. A lot of clients, a lot of single women, a lot of this, a lot of that. My wife has access to everything. If she wants to pick up my phone tomorrow and go through my phone, go through my all my stuff, she has access to everything. And I think if somebody's really reaching out to me to be more than they should be, that's not a person you really want to hang out with anyway, because they see that I'm connected to this person 24/7. You can't miss my social media without seeing Ann. It's impossible. Because you see one, you see the other all the time. You see it everywhere. I posted a video this morning from Snapchat where there's a picture of 1,000 of my faces screaming Ann. And that was, what does Ann see first thing in the morning? Ann. I mean, really? You can't miss it.
Well, it sounds like you guys have built a lot of trust. And that's really a foundational component to any relationship, really.
Yeah, I mean, and speaking from the perspective of having been, having gone down the failed marriages approach and rebuilding something or building something unlike I've had before, just the determination to do stuff different, the determination to, when people say like relationships are work and that kind of stuff, there's work that's good work. There's good work that's beneficial and that fills your cup, and it's not. There's a difference between work and labor, right? I mean, relationships are work. I don't know that necessarily like hard labor. It's not like a labor camp, but when you invest in something, then there's return on that investment. And so when you have that relationship that you're talking about, where you keep dating and you keep courting and you keep, the fun involved, then to me, that's investment in something that benefits you and that comes back to you ultimately.
A lot more courting. We want a lot more courting.
A lot more courting.
But there's also that building of trust. And I think there's such a individualist mindset nowadays, especially in the West, that I'm my own person, you're your own person, and we're going to come together as these individual people. Well, that's fine, but you're coming together to create a couple, you're coming together to create a relationship, and there has to be the communication and the trust and these things. And so many of us are just jaded nowadays and have either no training on communication or no training on trust. It's like they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then they create those scenarios and they prove themselves right over and over again. And I've had those experiences. I'm sure most of us have, where you're like, I just think this is going to happen. And then you keep putting that out there, and then it does happen. You're like, see, I was right. Well, that comes from not doing the right things in the relationship, or, courting or dating, or having trust and good communication skills in the relationship, and actually focusing on the relationship. Everybody's so focused on what's in it for me instead of being of service. And we've done the service episode. Like, men, we've got to be of service. Ladies, if you're in a relationship with a man that you love, you got to be of service to that man. You got to serve each other and the relationship. You got to serve the couple.
Now, Alex, how do you and this will probably spill over into the next break here, but really quick, how do you handle just like communication kind of issues because I asked that because obviously you had to have some kind of quick communication to say, hey, is it okay that I post this stuff? Is it okay that I post? Or you just started posting it on, and her getting scared and freaking out and all this other kind of stuff. You just started posting it.
No, I just posted it. But you got to understand though. I mean, she knew who she was getting in with when she got in with me.
Mm-hmm.
I've never tried to be anything different than what I am, and people that are gonna hear this that are friends of mine or acquaintances of mine, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's Alex." I'm that guy that comes into the room and they're like, "Oh shoot, he's gonna say this." I almost said it.
Mm-hmm.
That he's gonna say something or he's gonna do something because it's. Okay, so here, back this up. So and this is not a conversation. This is just why I became the way I became. In April of 2012, I had a heart attack. Unexpectedly, middle of a sales meeting, wearing suit and tie, I had a heart attack. And at that moment, when I was sitting at Skyridge Hospital and had that come to Jesus meeting or whatever it is that you have, that's when I changed who I was as a person. Because my wife came to me at that time with a divorce, or she left me a week later.
Wow.
Everything hit me at once. And so you grow a lot, and I became who I became because of that. So the lowest point actually became my greatest strength. It's kind of weird.
You just rebound and you're like, I'm going to have fun with the rest of whatever I got left, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Hey, what we got left?
What do we have?
We got one more break left.
Do we?
Yeah, let's do a break.
All right, you do.
Mad Men Masculinity, KLDC 1220 AM. We'll be right back. Boom.
One more.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah, that was the big thing for me when I had my heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I got out of the hospital.
So you had a heart attack and divorced, like at the same, like at
Dude,
divorce?
same freaking week.
Wow.
I came home from the hospital. This is my
People are
life of
cold.
14.
That's
14
cold-blooded, man. That's
14
cold-blooded.
years.
Some people are cold.
There you go.
Man.
You want to bring that up?
Wow.
14 years of marriage. So get this. I have a heart attack Friday the 13th, 2012. I called my wife. I was like, hey, blah, 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 let's run the movie, blah, blah, and all this other shit. And she's like, yeah, it sounds good. Boom, I collapse. I have a heart attack. I go to Skyridge. You're there for 3 days. I get out. I'm supposed to go home, do the rehab. That was 13th. On the 18th, I'm in the basement of my parents' house.
Wow.
She supposedly found all this internet stuff that I'm having this online affair. Fast forward a year later, it was her that was having the affair. I'm like,
Projection.
what affair? What affair?
Man, that's cool.
Oh,
man.
dude, it was a
That's cool,
nightmare.
man.
But out of that, that was April. November, a bump into AM.
Yeah.
See, it was all divinely
Yeah.
guided. Like,
Boom.
sucked, but freed you up.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're back.
We back.
Mad Men of Masculinity, KLDC, 1220 AM in the Mile High City. And today we have Alex Yakubovich.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yakubovich.
Yakubovich, man. See,
Yakubovich.
I
I know
got
you
it.
did.
Didn't
That's
I get
why
it
I had
right,
to mess
Alex?
it up.
I got it right, didn't I?
Somebody's got to mess it up. Gotta have some fun.
You should
But
hear all the variations.
I'm the articulate one.
we brought Alex in because he demanded to be on our show,
Yeah.
and because he's such a good example of how to have fun relationships and how to have fun in relationships and how to focus on your relationship. And so we're picking this man's brain because he's been doing it for a minute.
Yeah.
It was like 10 years now, plus
11 years.
You've known each other for 50 years. So, I mean,
40, man. 40.
40.
They met when they were 12. Right? Come on, man. He was 12.
I went to
You went to public
school,
school,
man. You know,
See, you went to the military.
I went to DOD public school,
You
so
did that.
Hey,
we didn't have calculators.
I went to Rangeview High School.
Oh, see.
Wow.
Here
We
you
know how
go,
to do
man.
math.
Here you go, man. Boom.
We know kilos. We know all that stuff.
Nah.
They actually taught you stuff.
You know the
Wow.
metric system.
I know the metric system really well.
Dude, so it sounds like between you and Ann, it sounds like there's some level of, for lack of a better word, intimacy in terms of openness and sharing. And you know who I am, I know who you are. I chose you, you chose me. You know, there's no secrets. You said there's no password protections or nothing, any of that kind of stuff. You're wide open. And at the same time, you date her, you court her because you want to get some, which ain't nothing wrong with that. If that's wrong, I don't want to be right. And you know, but you just kind of have this ongoing thing. First of all, let me back up for a second. I want to get you really quick, few seconds, brag on your daughter. Where's she at right now?
Well, my youngest is in Israel for 5 weeks.
Yeah, see, I'm a fan, dude. I told you, man. I'll be watching, man.
Yeah,
I'll be watching, man.
She's in Israel for 5 weeks, doing her rite of passage kind of a tour. My oldest daughter did that last year, where they spent 5 weeks learning about it. It's actually kind of interesting because they learn about history they go to Poland for about 3 to 4 days. They walk through the gas chambers, they walk through Auschwitz, they walk through the whole Holocaust experience. And it's really, in fact, she called me at 2:00 in the morning from Auschwitz gas chamber, freaking out. And I'm like, where you call me from? She's like, I'm in the gas chamber. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
I lived in Germany. I went to Dachau and
yeah,
you can still feel there's some messed up energy in those places. So it can mess with her.
And then they're flown at night or first thing in the morning to Israel, and then they experience the morning in Israel, and then they spend learning about cultures, religions, differences, tolerances, all these different things, and they come back, you know, whole different people. My oldest daughter came back as a woman. She came back so different. So my youngest is doing that. But I got to give kudos. My oldest, Audrey's going off to college in August. She got accepted for architectural school. She's going to be going to college all the way out in Rhode Island. And my other daughter's in Arizona, lives permanently. So my daughters went.
Yeah.
It's nothing against you, though.
Yeah,
no, they wanted to go spread their wings and take everything you taught them and go do good things.
I raised some strong women.
So what were you doing in the jewelry store a couple weeks ago?
Oh, yeah. What's going on there?
Actually, you know what's actually kind of funny is I went in there to follow my daughter. She was in town for a couple of days, and she was here with her boyfriend. And I did not know about this. They were just kicking tires, so to speak. He said he was trying to find a little cross for her. Come to find out, on Sunday he gave her a little promise ring. That's what he was shopping for. Was a little promise ring. Zach is a great kid.
Nice.
But they're way too young. 20 is way. That's what it used to be.
Been there, done that.
I wasn't 20. I was trying.
No, I'm talking about with mine. With mine and having that talk like, bruh.
Yeah. But you got to be careful though, because I remember I had the talk with myself in like my teenage years, 13, 14, because I watched my parents. I'm like, okay, I see how they did it. So they got married early 20s and then or late teens and then had me and then got divorced and then remarried in their mid 30s. And then my little ignorant head, I'm like, I'll just wait till that second part till I'm grown up more in my mid 30s. Now I'm in my mid 40s going, clock's ticking.
Nice. Yeah, this is completely off topic as well. Just because
do we ever have a topic?
No, we never have a topic,
okay.
But I'm just kind of squirreling. Greenwood Automotive. Yeah, I mean, is it true that I mean, for a while there was like no cars, and people were saying, "Oh, there's no cars nowhere. You can't find any cars, and any cars that you find, people are like bidding on cars." And
and then they had that whole used car thing.
Yeah, can't find any. Is that true?
Last 3.5 years have been how I'm not drunk 24/7 is beyond.
Wow.
We had, you name it, we had it from earthquakes to meltdowns to railroad disasters to the chip shortage to strikes to ports on fire to ships sinking. We've faced it all. We've done it all. We've seen it all. It's coming around right now where we're starting to see a little bit more inventory, but now it's one of these things where, like, for instance, I had a car delivered this morning for a client. She ordered a Subaru Forester, everyday run-of-the-mill car that you could normally walk into a dealership and there's 50 of them. It's about a 2-month wait still because the chip shortage is still on. So, but yeah, new cars, used cars. I've got to be an expert at this COVID game is kind of what we referred to.
So if somebody's like, okay, I'm tired of my car and I want to get a new car, can they just like come up to you and say, hey, Alex?
Yeah.
Like I want a white Ford Pinto.
They don't make those anymore, man.
I don't know. Can you get one?
I could probably get them.
See.
Wow.
I know a guy.
I get a
So,
the retro.
You look like one of those
So-
guys. That I know a guy. Like I know a guy.
I am that guy. So
He is
So-
the guy.
So yeah, if it's a new car, what we do is we have that conversation. We look at budget, we look at money, we look at payments. Because keep in mind, the interest rates are up now too. So it isn't the way it's been for the last 20 years, where it's like 1.9, 2.9, 0%. It's like in the 6s and 7s now if you're A plus credit.
Mhm.
So we have that conversation. I hate surprises, so I hate my customers to have surprises. So we have that conversation. If it's a new car, I don't work with the retail department of dealerships. I work with the wholesale. So I place an order. We do all the information. If there's a trade, I'll appraise it. I'll shop your trade to get you more money for the trade. So there's things that I do that dealerships don't do. Because again, I want you to be part of my database. That way you come back to me over and over and over. Versus if you go to a dealership, you're just a number. Yeah. When you go back, it's a whole new staff with me. My customers come back to me over and over. And it's an easy process.
So you can get a white Ford Pinto if I want one.
I can find one.
Can you take us down to the Denver auction and go down there and just pick out whatever and bid on it?
It's not really like that. Well, the way it kind of does it with me is I do it all online. And the reason I do it that way is when you do it online, you kind of see the inventory a couple of days ahead of time. So you kind of get to see what the quality of the vehicle is. Does it need a spare tire? Does it need 2 keys? Has it been in a car accident? What kind of title does it have? So you get to see all of that up front. Versus if you go down to the auction, a lot of times you're on the spot,
right?
And you're bidding against 50 other people.
You don't even get to see the car. You just get to look at it.
Yeah, you get to look at it. Then you're bidding against all these other people, and you got 10 to 15 seconds. Hurry up, do it. You know. And with me, it's like, I'll call my customer or I'll text them. I'll send them a really nice form saying, here's what I found for you. Here's all the specs on it. Here's the price that I think we're going to end up paying for it. What do you think? If they like it, they give me a deposit for it. If we win the deposit or if we buy it right there and then, I send out a truck. We inspect it one more time to make sure everything is the way it needs to go. It comes in, we inspect it, and we wrap it up. It's so easy. I've been doing it for so long. My customers love it because the process is easy. It's 1, 2, 3. It's none of this back and forth. You start with me, you finish with me.
I like it. So this is the new way to buy cars, people. Don't be going with your ignorant self to the dealership thinking you know something. Get with my man Alex here. He's been doing it for 20 years and knows what he's doing so that he can make your process much easier and save you a lot of time and probably a heartache.
And he's a real deal dude. And he's got some story. He's got some history behind him. And he's doing this thing at home. And so, like I said, the man, first of all, thank you for coming on, man. I think it's fantastic. And like I said, I love the perspective from a guy. Like, you're not trying to pretend to be some therapist trying to tell people how to do whatever. You're not trying to hawk books or nothing like that. You're not, pointing people to your coaching program or nothing like that. But just the down to earth perspective of relationships and what it could look like, for somebody that maybe is doing it the second, third, eighth time, whatever, but doing it totally different. So let's just, sum it up, man. Just give the homeboys out there just some schooling on like how to keep a relationship fun, man. How do I keep it fun with my lady? Really quick.
Just date her. Never stop dating your wife, your spouse, your significant other. We have our ups and downs. We'll have some really bad arguments, but you never stop dating. And we do things together. We'll cook together. I don't do that whole, hey, you're the woman, you cook. And she's like, hey, you're the man, do this. We just kind of work together on things. We're a team because I think if you recognize that you've now become a single unit, and I think that's the problem is people now they want to divide everything. Yeah. This is mine. This is yours. This is mine. We don't have that. It's kind of old school to where we're one. Mm-hmm. I have mine, I have my business credit card. She has her business credit card, but for the most part, we're just a team and we do things collectively. But we never stop dating. We never stop going out. I never try. Here's the one thing that I do that is different, I think. And before I forget, I try to make my wife laugh every single day. That is the one thing. That is the one thing she actually wanted to make sure I tell you about today. I try to make her laugh every single day, 365 days a year, every single day. Whether it's a dad joke and she'll roll her eyes and she'll go, "No, that sucked," or something goofy, or I'll come in and just tear my shirt open and go, "Your man's home." Something stupid. Like she loves this shirt because it's buttons and it just opens up.
Nice. Don't
But-
do it right now. Don't do it. No, don't do it right now.
But
You can't unsee that.
yeah, you want to see that.
No.
But
Save it for the book.
but something like that.
Mhm.
And I think that's where I think she has a sense of trust and she has a sense of always being wanted. And that's important and secure and all of that. So
You heard it here first, gentlemen. Make sure you keep dating your woman. Try to make her laugh every day and make sure you're on the same team. Speaking of the same team, we love y'all. Thank you to the Madmen Mafia. Thank you to Alex for coming on here. Thank you for everybody who's liking and subscribing and hitting that little bell icon. And until next time, Madmen out.
thank you.